Welcome, everybody. I'm back with JP here with our Star Wars CCG graded Facebook group update, and this will be coming out in the beginning of July. So here we are going to recap a little bit of June. We will touch upon the competition, what's upcoming, and some other interesting things going around the group. So JP, welcome back. It's great to talk with you again.
Thanks, Kyle. Thanks for having me. I'm glad we have the opportunity to have some of these updates monthly, which is good. And we've got the competitions and a whole bunch of stuff's going on, a lot more weekly and monthly. So good to keep everybody updated and keep the machine moving.
Yeah, so let's just hear, I know you were talking about before we started recording, but let's hear kind of a general recap of how the group has been evolving and growing and what you've been seeing around just in the past month.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of people that's reaching out, and they've got all kinds of really great questions about the group itself. But we are just about to hit 600 members, and I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but we were at 515 like back in April or the end of April, and now we're at 599, and I can't figure out why we haven't crossed over on that 600 yet, but pretty soon we're going to hit it probably this weekend over the 4th of July holiday.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I mean, it really is a testament to just a lot of the organic growth, from here. It's not, bots and nonsense that we're seeing in here. Like, people are joining and contributing to the conversations and, asking questions and showing off their displays. And I can feel the competitiveness, like, creeping up. It's not just like one or two people collecting a few things. When some of these cards are getting posted on eBay or somebody's posting something for sale, like, there's a bunch of different bites. There's a lot of people interested looking at these. And I have to say, from what I've seen just in the sales market, whereas it felt like 6 months, a year ago, if I wanted, a pretty good slab, something of 9 or 10, that's not, a main or a rare, you could get them for, anywhere from 20 to maybe $40. But like now, especially with a lot of even the very rare foils of Reflections foils, white border Premier. I mean, if it's a 10, or like it's not going for less than $200. Even some of the commons, $60, graded high. I mean, that's news to me. Like, there's no sweet deals coming through as like they were before. There were some low hanging fruits available. I'm finding that less and less common as I follow sales of what's going on. I might try to bid here and there, but then it goes like way beyond what I thought it was going to be. So it's like, all right, well, is it time to pick and choose? Because this is definitely heating up.
It's definitely heating up. I've also got some folks that are asking me, how do I price it? They've got like one of a kind, very unique stuff too. It's not the same stuff that's coming across our viewing platforms. It's the first time I'm ever seeing it, and it's even hard for me to say, hey, I think, in my opinion, it's going to be right up there with like a regular, Darth Vader gem mint. It's so much new stuff coming out too, and everybody's grading everything. So it's become like the perfect utopia of grading Star Wars cards. So I love what we're doing, and we're pretty much like the frontier. It's wide open, and we're all the Christopher Columbus of investigating it all, and being the ones that the first ones doing it. So
yeah, I was poking around just the other day over PSA population reports for Reflections 1. And it's creeping up on 1,500 cards graded in that category alone. That's a lot, considering where we were, and some of the other ones are in the few hundreds, where before they were just double digits, or just kind of one-offs here or there. I'm starting to see different people submitting stuff. Of course, there's always somebody who submitted, 15 of the same thing, so that's possible. But I'm very curious. I'm like almost religiously looking at like the population, not the population, the set registry updates, because I want to know when these Star Wars CCG new sets come out, because as soon as like a new set drops, like you can guarantee like People are going to want to be filling that in. I know I
Right.
will want to be filling that in. I'm sure you will. I'm sure some other people are waiting to get their chance at the bit here. Um, but yeah, with populations increasing and registering in there, it's really exciting because this is really what we've been wanting. This is really what we've been looking forward to, and we're seeing some of the fruits of that, labor come through now.
Right. And I'm trying to figure out kind of what's the next steps, because I was always thinking that these were going to be so many roadblocks and years down the road trying to, PSA is a huge company, and so is Beckett, so is BGS. BGS has
Right.
already had their registries out since I was grading with them, but PSA, they welcomed us with open arms. They were real receptive and listened to what we had to say, and it's like what's next for us is what it is. We're going to have to grow and develop in different areas and different ways, but man, the set registries is a big area that everybody can collaborate, and you can benchmark your collection against everybody else's. And every time I go out there to see what's available for registries, it's the top 5 is everybody from our group. So I love that we're owning it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's really exciting. So, should we jump into where we left off with the competitions here? Because this is very exciting. I'm sure everyone's
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the exciting part.
where we stood with this. So just to kind of recap, we had May was aliens, June this past month was red cars only, July upcoming is rebel spaceships. August will be weapons. September is episode 1 themed. October, Imperial spaceships. November, Cloud City. And December will be Hoth. I have not considered putting out next year's categories. I'm hoping that by next year, maybe we can get even more niche. I tried keeping the categories this year very broad so that more people could participate, but we could maybe get into some more interesting, nuanced things, or cards that start with a letter or something weird like that. Maybe we even put it up to a vote, like with the group, see what categories they want. That's fine. But anyways, let's recap from June. So red cards only. We had a good amount of submissions. Super awesome to see these come through. Just as much excitement as the month before. Just high level. What were some of your first impressions when you saw some of the slabs come through, and what were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'm not a selfish person, but this got me excited. So, of course, the first thing I want to do is go digging through my cards, and looking at everybody's cards and their collections. Is that it goes deeper than I even thought. That I didn't think a lot of people were going to have a lot of interrupts and effects, and I thought this month may be the smaller of the entries, but this group keeps surprising me, and the uniqueness and what people sent off for grading it's just wonderful to see that this is the only time we're really probably going to get to showcase these oddball things, and it just blows me away what's hiding in people's collections. So I love the selection this month because these cards are really unique, and so I just can't wait to see what the future holds. And maybe we need to have like best of the best, so we know like who's done the lowest over the past few months, which ones are the best unique pair, and maybe at the end of the year we just pick all of those and say, hey, what's the best of the best in all the unique pairs, and the best of the best of the top 2.
Yeah, and if the competition gets larger, we have to consider how many people submit. I mean, right now we're basically doing a first place for low ball and unique, and then a first and runner up for top pair, since that seems to be the biggest category. But maybe we need to do a 1, 2, 3 when this grows. Hopefully some of these new members opt to participate in as well. But yeah, I mean, from the submissions that we got here, like you said, I mean, there was a wide range of stuff. We had foils, we had white border, black border, you had things from like the Reflections 2 to tournament foils to the 2-player starter box, the wide range of stuff, which is great because there are a lot of good cards. So this did make it little difficult, but there were a few things that stood out There's a few submissions that stood out in my mind. Should we start with the low ball? So our low ball winner, it looks like the master himself, John Guzik. Congratulations. Masterful move, PSA 3, and you are beaten PSA 2. It's safe to say we are all beaten by those two cards. I don't know what the thought process was in submitting those or buying them, but if there's a low ball master, John, that's just going to be your new nickname if you keep this going forward. The submissions were very good. John Guzik, awesome submission for low ball. I'd love to see some other people jump in that category. Surely people have submitted something that was pretty low, maybe not a 2 or 3. We've seen our fair share of 4s and 5s accidentally.
Well, I know who I'm going to ask because I'm dying to have one of those Tanika sisters that's graded a 2. And if there's somebody that can pull it off, it's got to be John.
Like, John, I know you got some dude worthy Tonica sisters. All right, let's jump through to unique. Do you want to announce who won the unique category?
Yeah, so for the unique was Cameron. Cameron had a really good selection.
The HGA custom labels of Hindsight 8.5 and Through the Force Things You Will See 9.0. I mean, the grades are almost kind of like after the fact. It's the fact that Through the Force Things You Will See, they put the slab upside down. I'm sure that was by Cam's request. But it's pretty cool. Or maybe I guess you could flip it and it's upside down. I don't know. Either way, it's really cool. And hindsight, obviously, everything reversed. I would love to have one of those cards HGA slabbed myself. So that was awesome. And then top pair, this merited some discussion, but I think we all came to an agreement here. Michael Lockwood locked it in here with the Japanese High Anxiety BGS 9.5 and Responsibility of Command, a Japanese 9.5. I mean, it's hard to top, Japanese Hoth due to its extreme rarity, not to mention, rare ones graded so high. So that was a pretty solid submission.
Yeah,
for sure. There were some other good submissions in here. Ultimately, we have the runner-up with Mark in a last-ditch effort here to send in before the expiration. He had a PSA 10 of both Speak with the Jedi Council and We Must Accelerate Our Plans. This came forth just due to the overall rarity of the cards. A lot of it came down to low pops, but they're just a little more rare than some of the other things. So congratulations, John, Cam, Michael, and Mark. Awesome submissions. And for everybody else who submitted, there were some really cool slabs to look at. Certainly things meriting conversations for sure.
Yep. Good job to everybody. And I check all the time too. It's like I'm so excited to see who's rolling what out there each day. And it's getting to be more and more. And I think this next month with Rebel ships, it's going to I think there's going to be so many people. That's probably one of the most common things that's being graded. So I'm excited to see what everybody's got and see the categories they're going to fit them in. And we'll see if John can hold on to his reign of terror.
Yeah, Rebel spaceships. I mean, I'm thinking out loud, we'll probably see a few tournament foil Carillion Corvettes, just due to their general popularity. But I'd love to see some, home ones or some other, like Redemption. They have some other cool Death Star 2, Liberty, right? Mon Calamari Star Cruiser. I mean, obviously there's Millennium Falcon, but there's some other obscure Rebel ships that would be really cool to see. I don't know if you have any ships that you're thinking maybe you could see. I mean, I guess in theory you could literally go through everybody who did the trench run, in the first.
Yeah, right. You got all the gold and all the red. You got all the squadrons, but it's tough because as I sit and think in my head, I have just as many or more of the dark side spaceships, and I keep forgetting because I think some of those are like Rebel ships. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's a Star Destroyer. So I've got to like wipe those out of my mind right now while I'm trying to think of the Rebel ships. But yeah, I've got a couple that I want to do that are a little different, And I know a lot of people, they're going to want to do the Carillion Corvette tournament foil because that's the best of the best. That's one of the top 2 cards in the industry. And but there, I know there's a couple of them out there that are with people in our groups that are 9s, and that's a really hard grade to get. So I think there's like four 9s and 4 8s that are in the population report, and so we'll see how it goes. People always surprise us, and I can't wait to see what the unique pairs are going to look like.
I don't think I've graded my Carillion Corvette. I don't think it merited I wouldn't give it a high grade myself. So I was like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll eventually submit it, but I have some interesting submission ideas for that. But I can't wait to see what lowball John is going to have. Maybe he's got a Millennium Falcon 1 or something. We'll see.
Yeah. Or somebody else. Maybe somebody else has got something lower too. So we'll see how it goes. And maybe John can hold on to his throne for this next month and see what everybody's got in their collections.
So before we wrap this up, I wanted to get an idea. Have you heard anything from PSA in terms of like updates of what's going on in terms of the registry sets that are going up? Anything with correcting some of the the labeling and stuff? I know people have pointed out the mistakes and stuff, and I know they'll learn over time, but I didn't know if there was anything that you had come across or any news you had heard in that front.
No, I haven't reached out and poked the bear yet. And like I said, they've been so helpful with me that I didn't want to be annoying. But I think I'm going to reach out and just get a quick update and say, hey, how's things going? My group of 600 people are just kind of interested in wondering, is there any dates or timelines that we can be looking at? But that you bring up a good point with the labels. A lot of people, it bugs the heck out of them that the labels are wrong, or your serial number that's on your label belongs in another set and you need it to be in one of the other sets. I found that I've got a bunch of cards graded that they've got them mixed up, and they assign some kind of a PSA number also to those serial numbers. So that particular card in the checklist, no matter what serial number it is and no matter who owns it, will fit into that specific set. And I know they're having troubles with that. So I haven't brought that topic up and said, hey, is there going to be any fixes? Because I've got like a dozen examples, and all you got to do is just follow the official Star Wars CCG checklist, and it should be able to help you keep things straight. But like anything else, I can't imagine a company that size and them having to deal with everything. I mean, all the non-sports stuff, all the sports stuff, all the stuff from the 1800s. They do bobbleheads and tickets and all kinds of junk. So yeah, I don't know how they keep things straight, but again, it's not going to hurt to ask them and get some updates. So I will here in July. I'll give you guys an update in the group when I reach out to them, and if they respond back, I'll let everybody know what they say.
So I wanted to say that at least in terms of turnaround times, because people have asked me sometimes, like, hey, what are the turnaround times? I had 2 100 card plus submissions for the Star Wars card special submissions. Those came back within about 30 days. And that was really fast for that many cards. I thought that was really impressive. So they were clearly moving through maybe that category quicker than others. I'm not sure, because I also submitted some smaller orders, maybe about 25 cards as part of the TCG bulk. That's still out. Maybe that'll be 45 days or so. And then another 30-day business day submission for some higher value cards. Still waiting on that. But that's coming up in the deadline. But I thought it was interesting that the massive Star Wars special orders went through so fast, just given how many cards were in those stacks. They really went through that quickly. So that tells me generally summertime, probably less people are thinking about graded cards. They're probably more thinking about vacations and spending time outside and, not getting cooped up in the basement or in the office. Maybe that's more of a winter or slowdown sort of activity. So I would imagine some of the specials will, continue, or they'll keep the lower prices down for submissions. So That should be good. I do measure a lot of like where they stand based on some of these turnaround times. So if their turnaround times are really good, then they're either not as busy, or maybe they've managed to get super efficient. My guess is they're not quite as busy, or they've already ramped up and staffed and trained enough people that they have a better system going since like a year ago. Not entirely sure your thoughts on that, but or what submission times you've been seeing, but pretty good.
Yeah, they actually put out a report that shows what their volumes are month to month, and they're down right now. So if you are part of any special, and I know they're running 3 different sports specials now, I believe, and the Star Wars one ended in May. But if you wait to the last day, right on if it's the 30th or 31st of a month, you can get all of your submissions lined out on the last day, and then you have the 30 days to actually submit the cards. So you can just kind of keep an assembly line going. And if you feel like it's taken that 45 to 60 days to get your stuff back, well, then their volumes are up. But if you get the information from them where they say their volumes are down and they're doing it quicker, you might, instead of sending it off on the first or second day of the month, hold on to it to the end of the month to save yourself some headache, and push it to where they'll get it done in 2 or 3 weeks. You might even get it back quicker if you wait till the end of the month on some of these specials. But on the flip side, maybe they're running about average, and then you get to the end of the month, and then they're slammed, and then that starts your 60 days. But still, 60 days is not bad. I used to wait like a year to get my stuff back. So no complaints there. It's just that once you get used to that quick turnaround, you kind of expect it. And in our group, the way we showcase and talk about it, and the way the prices are going up, and eBay is really getting dumb about it, it's really getting to be a big topic. And so I think everyone in our group is really feeling it. So it's an interesting thing to think about, what they have to go through to keep the machine going for them.
Yeah. And HGA, I had gotten some returns for non-Star Wars CCG stuff that I really enjoyed, but I have a few other cards for me to send out with them, but they're still on track with their 60 days. It's really still been about 50 days or so. So that's good news. And I've had people ask me to submit stuff on their behalf. So I'm still happy to do that for you if you want to submit to HGA or PSA, or you live abroad. I've already done it for a bunch of people. I can do it for you as well. Just reach out to me through direct message. And my final thoughts are, I think Cam had posted something kind of cool. He put like a lot out of like his top 12 favorites or top 12 slabs of the moment or something like that. I thought that was a really interesting conversation piece. And perhaps we should maybe have something separate outside of our monthly competition of just like a check-in thread of those kind of things. I feel like that would be really cool. Just some shout out slabs that you want to show off to the world. I feel like, unfortunately, once you start piling up a lot of slabs, they end up in a safe or a box, and they just kind of end up in your closet for a while, or in a safe or something, and they don't see the light of day, So there's some really cool stuff out there. We want to see it. So if you have stuff to share it on the Star Wars Graded group, kick off a discussion. We're not going to knock it down. We'll probably, go all starry-eyed looking at it. So
that's right. I mean, absolutely, because I think he was pulling some stuff out of his safety deposit box. And it's funny how that something like that triggers, oh yeah, I got a bunch of junk in here. And he pulled it out, and it was kind of a mix mash of different things, which was still cool. And I'm the same way. I start collecting junk, and it piles up on shelves and in drawers and in boxes and closets. And it's like I come across it again. It's like, what's the point of my collection? I don't even look at it, and it's piled up. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got, every single kind of, seeker or whatever it is. It's stupid, but I do have every seeker. It's dumb. But people are, there's stuff you get back that you're almost embarrassed, because people are doing videos and they go, I don't know why these are all 8s or 7s, and they put them aside. And if you don't sell them, they're sitting somewhere, and there'll be people interested in that. I mean, even just to see it. So your collection is interesting to everybody in the group.
Yeah. So again, feel free to share them, start a discussion, show us what you got hidden in your closet, in your drawer. Feel free to post that. And there's also a bunch of the graded group members that are on Instagram as well. I use Instagram to take higher res photos or close-ups of my slabs. That's all I post. So there is a whole circle of people. If you're interested in following those or starting your own, definitely hit up the group and we'll give you all our handles so we can all follow and support each other there as well. So anyways, JP, thanks for doing this again. I look forward to doing this each month as we continue. Look forward to these Rebel spaceship competitions. This is going to be a really awesome month. And yes, we are going to cross the 600 line. I look forward to celebrating that when we do. On to 650, right?
Yeah, just let's keep moving the needle and keep up the good work on all the interviews that you're doing in the group too. That's been a real highlight, and a lot of people have been talking about that. So it's nice to kind of showcase the person themselves, not just the cards, but who's the collector behind the collection. So
yeah, great point. If I haven't heard from you, we want to hear from you. Direct message me. Let's do an interview. We want to hear about your Star Wars collection. It doesn't even have to be CCG cards. It can be anything Star Wars related. I want to hear your story, your journey, what you got, what you're going for, your regrets, your excitements, all of it. So hit me up. Thanks, guys. It's been great hearing from you.
All right. Thanks, Kyle.